Chodesh B'Tzion Tachin V'Yoylas V'Shchodesh Le'olav Mizbeach Chodesh B'Tzion Tachin V'Yoylas V'Shchodesh Le'olav. I started too high. Mizbeach Chodesh B'Tzion Tachin V'Yoylas V'Shchodesh Le'olav Mizbeach Chodesh B'Tzion Tachin V'Yoylas V'Shchodesh Le'olav Mizbeach Chodesh B'Tzion Tachin V'Yoylas V'Shchodesh Le'olav Mizbeach Chodesh B'Tzion Tachin V'Yoylas V'Shchodesh You need more glasses? Oh, you have more glasses? Good. What?
The prettiest girls we've had.
What's your name?
Moshiach.
I'm just bad with names, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're also
Moshiach,
right? So remember the Moshiach part. It's the month of Reuben, Thomas, you know. Okay, so today's Rosh Chodesh, so we're going to start first with, I'm going to play you a recording of Reb Shlomo. I'm going to play you a recording of Reb Shlomo on how do I get to the other window? I'm going to play you a recording of Reb Shlomo on about the month of Tammuz and Av, and it very much relates to what we're talking about now. Moshiach eyes. We're still learning about Moshiach eyes. We haven't finished it yet. Okay, so go ahead, enjoy.
Really heartbreaking 2 months, Tammuz and Av. And now listen, my beautiful friends. Esav and Yaakov divided the world. So let's start from this. Esav says, give me Chodesh Nisan. Oy vey. What are you going to do with Pesach eating matzah? It's not for you. Esav says, give me Chodesh Iyar. You have to come to Oma every night. You won't have time. You'll be drunk. You're running around in a single bar. Who knows what else? Not for you. 7. Hi, 7. Do you have time to come to Mount Sinai? We asked you, we invited you, and you said you have no time. And if you remember, Esav asked, what does it say? Torah says, don't kill. He said, oh, please, God, you must be kidding. You're old-fashioned. In fact, today Esav says, I don't even have to do it personally anymore. I just push a button somewhere and I destroy the world. It's not for you, Esav. Stay away. Oh, yeah. Thomas. There's no way of pushing him up. He took the month. Chodesh Av, the 9th month. Everybody knows that
Esav took Tammuz and half of Av.
The walls broke down. We made the golden calf. Moshe Rabbeinu had to break the tablets. Oh, the Esav is strong in this month. Destruction of the temple. Chodesh Elul. Esav wants to take care of us. He knows, listen, brother Esav, you have to get up every morning early to go to shul to blow the shofar. It's not for you. The way you live, not for you. Tishri, Gewalt. Rosh Hashanah blowing the shofar, sitting in the sukkah. Cheshvan, everybody knows when Moshiach is coming, the third temple will be initiated in Cheshvan. And the whole month. And it's very strange. Basically, in Chodesh Cheshvan, looks like everything is falling apart. The leaves are falling down, and everything is dried out and dead. And yet it is so beautiful. Have you ever walked in the forest? When the green leaves, some will turn red a little bit. It looks like it's falling apart. And your mamish knows just preparing for even a more beautiful year. Become even more special. No, it's not for you. Kislev, oh, brother Esav, you've kindling Chanukah lights. Not for you. Oh, Tavis. He took Tavis. Everybody knows the Sober Tavis. Sober Tavis is the one when the war between Rome and Israel began. And when they began to surround Yerushalayim, it's the day when they translated the Bible into 70 languages. And what the most heartbreaking thing is? Today, sometimes you talk to people, I read the Bible in King James Version. It's a criminal offense against God. Can you really believe that God said an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth? What a criminal translation. Everything in the Torah is so holy and so beautiful. Anyway, he took it. And Shvat, he also took it. The only thing is, Shvat on the 15th, when half the month is over, we celebrate, thank God. It's over. And also, from the 15th day of Av, because everybody knows Moshiach is coming on the 9th day of Av, and on the 15th, Moshiach will initiate the third temple. But let's go slow a little bit. The month of Tammuz, the fixing is seeing. And the astrological sign is Cancer. What's Cancer all about? Without even getting involved in the depth, Cancer walks backwards. Got to go back. What happens to you in Tammuz? When we go back. And the month belongs to Reuben. Reuben means, look here, my son. The oldest son of Yaakov, son of Leah. And the fixing is seeing the eyes. Chodesh Av belongs to Shimon. Chodesh Av belongs to Shimon. And the fixing is hearing. And here's the awesome classic Torah from the Heilige B'nai Yissaschar. And I wish for some of you who have never heard of him, let me just tell you, he was one of the greatest pupils of the city of Lublin. And maybe one of these days we'll have more time. And I wish you and I should meet, and sit together and tell each other stories. He says the deepest Torah in the world. Everybody knows the destruction of the temple began with the sending of the spies. And the way the spies looked at Israel was not the right way. So Tammuz is when the spies left. So the fixing is seeing. They came back on Tisha B'Av and said, enough, we listened to them. So our wrongdoing was that we listened. So in Tammuz the fixing is hearing, and in Av the fixing is, seeing, and Av is hearing. But Ishbasik goes even one step deeper. In Chodesh Tammuz, until the Holy Temple is destroyed, the world looks beautiful. But yet, the way I see it, I realize the world is just about falling apart. And I see behind the falling apart, God is preparing a new world. On Tisha B'Av, when I look at the world, the Holy Temple is destroyed. I look at Auschwitz. What I see is too terrible. I have to close my eyes. My only salvation is can't you hear? You know, when I look at the gas chambers in Auschwitz, what I see is smoke coming out. But what I hear the footsteps of Moshiach. I want you to know, friends, I was in Krakow a few years ago, and the Moshiach was privileged to make up a little melody. It's like walking behind the 6 million. You know, when you close your eyes, what do we see? We're not only seeing the gas chambers, we see all the 6 million walking. I want to share with you something awesome.
Amazing story.
I was once in the pizza shop in Toronto, and a young lady comes up to me. She has a little boy of 6, and she says to me, I know you tell stories. Let me tell you, we are not so, let's say, super observant. And my little boy is, now he's 6, then he was 5. And we're sending him to Hebrew school in Holy Blossom Synagogue, Temple. One Sunday he's coming back, can't stop crying. We're trying to talk to him and ask him, why are you crying? And couldn't even get it out of him. Late at night, somehow he calmed down a little bit. And we asked him, why are you crying so much? He says, do you know, I heard today that they killed 6 million Jews. How could I ever stop crying? What a neshama, what a heart, what a soul. So she says, Mama, she tried to calm him down, but it didn't really work. He was still crying a little bit. Then I put him to sleep. And he says to me, Mommy, tell me the truth. Does God love the Jews? Why? What a heavy question. So she says, I said to my son, yeah, 100% he loves us the most. And suddenly he smiled. He says, you know, Mommy, I have an unbelievable idea. I think that the 6 million never died in the gas chambers. I think they came out on the other side and they walked straight to Yerushalayim. Sad enough. I lost the address, but wherever this little boy is, I'm sure he'll be the one to see him. When we all go to Yerushalayim, the Moshiach is coming. So the first part, my beautiful friends, slowly walking behind the 6 million. When this melody came to me, Moshiach could see with my inside eyes. We're walking behind the 6 million, slowly. You know what you're trying to do? All those little kids who were torn away from their parents. We're trying to hold them by the hand because they need so much someone to hold them. Can you imagine how many little kids they pushed in the gas chambers? They needed so much a father, mother to hold their hand. But then suddenly I realized, you know, friends, I had this very deep feeling. Imagine if I walk in front of my children. Do you really think I just walk and I don't look at them? God should give us a privilege as parents always to walk in front of our children, but I would like to walk backward. I don't ever want to take my eyes off my children. Want to look at them all the time. I could swear to you, yes, it's true. The 6 million walk in front of us, but they're dancing backward, and they're telling us to go to Yerushalayim. Don't walk sadly, dance, with great joy.
Okay, so that's so the needle that he made up in Krakow was one to do that's the first part. That listen to the next piece, which where he sort of visualized following. There's a glass cup also, where he visualized the 6 million walking in front of him. And then the second part, so that's the part where he says, like, it's, like when you're following the 6 million, you have to have like the respect, for them. But then you're also leading the next generation, you're leading the people behind you, and that they have to be led with a lively nigan. Okay. So Tammuz, just to elaborate a little bit on what Shlomo was saying, right? If you look in Sefer Yetzirah, and there's a book that I consider to be pretty much a masterpiece. And if you're interested in this kind of information, there's a book called The 12 Dimensions of Israel by Nechama Adboni. Actually, I have a couple of copies of it for sale. So,
12 dimensions of
The 12 Dimensions of Israel. And she goes month by month, and she's a student of Yitzchak Ginsburg, and she's an anthropologist, and she's an artist and a musician. So she actually went and visited all the different areas of Israel, tribe by tribe, like where the different tribes were living. And she put together a very beautiful book based on Sefer Yetzirah, explaining all the different dimensions of each month, Kabbalistically, psychologically, artistically, etc. And so one of the things about each month is that each month relates to a different physical function of the body, and the month of Tammuz relates to seeing. And the tribe that is related with the month of Tammuz is the tribe of Ruvain. Ruvain, the name itself, means to see, right? and this is the month during which the spies were scouting the land of Israel, right? So what Shlomo was saying was that the Bnei Yissaschar's teaching is that the tragedy of this month is that they were not looking at the land of Israel properly. And what we've been learning in the last few lessons about Moshiach eyes is all about looking, right? About what kind of eyes are you looking with? And the way you look at another, the way you look at yourself is so important. Like, what exactly are you seeing? And by the way, since we're all trying to do tshuva, one of the sinister ways that the Yetzer Hara tries to get us, and usually quite effectively, is that that as you become more devout and more observant, you get into this dangerous thing of becoming intolerant or looking down at people who are not as observant. Right? It's a real challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a real challenge. And as soon as you lose your humility, you know that you're off. You're off. You're not on target. Right? If you think that you're better than somebody else, what's the greatest thing that the Torah tells us about Moses? It's like I just did that in purpose already. Right? That he was the most humble person of all people on the face of the earth. Right? And the commentaries discuss, how could Moshe Rabbeinu be so humble? Right? Okay, I can see Moshe Rabbeinu walking in the street and meeting Michal and feeling humble towards Michal. But if he would meet me, what's he got to be humble about, Moshe, who was on Mount Sinai? You or me? You. Right? Who brought down the Torah? You. Who took us out of Egypt? You. So what do you got? How could you? Okay, fine, humility, but how could you be, more humble and think that I'm better than you, right? Because that's what usually humility involves. It's that you think that the other person is better than you. So one of the commentaries that I've seen is that Moshe Rabbeinu believed, he didn't think that humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking less about yourself. Okay? That's a very, yeah, we have one. Yeah. Right by the stairs. Humility is thinking less about yourself, right? And thinking more about what needs to be done right now. What does Hashem want? What does Hashem want of me right now? And when you meet somebody in the street, you can be sure that Hashem doesn't want you to think that you're better than them. So how could Moshe Rabbeinu think that the person that he's meeting is better than himself? So this commentary explains that Moshe Rabbeinu believed that had this person had been given the same opportunities that he had, he would have done a better job. That's one way of looking at it. In other words, it's okay. So I've done pretty good. I was up on Mount Sinai, etc., etc. But maybe if this Moshe would have been the one, right? Maybe we wouldn't have made a golden calf afterwards. Maybe this, maybe if he would have had the same opportunities that Moshe Rabbeinu had, he very well could have done better, right? So that's one aspect of the answer, of the explanation. The other aspect is that because Moshe Rabbeinu had attained such a high level of connection and consciousness of God, his awareness of the smallness of man was greater than anybody else. In other words, he was more aware of how small man really is than anybody else, and therefore he was able to be more humble than everybody else. Because he realized the greatness of Hashem so much more, so therefore he realized how really insignificant a human being could be. Once the Chassid, I think, came to one of the Rebbes, maybe the Tzemach Tzedek, I don't remember which one. He said, Rebbe, I can't stand it. Everybody in the Beis Medrash is stepping on me. So the Rebbe said to him, if you wouldn't spread yourself out over the entire Beis Medrash, if you wouldn't spread yourself out over the entire Beis Medrash, people wouldn't have to step on you to get around. The problem is that it's not that they're stepping on you. The problem is that you're spreading yourself. Huh?
All over the place.
You're all over the place. Like, in other words, you're making sure that everybody is aware of you all the time, right? So real humility is very important. Fake humility is humility that as a result of it, you stop achieving the best that you could achieve. Who, me? I can't do this. I'm not good enough to do this. This is that. That's fake humility. Like you're not achieving. Real humility is, and I've heard this even in other circles, the real masters of anything is real masters, whether it's in math or the sciences or the arts or music and so on. The real masters are aware that there's so much more that they haven't even touched yet. It's like the Rambam says, the ultimate of knowledge is to know that you don't know. Right? You used to walk into classrooms back in Montreal, and when I would want to get to know the kids, I would want to know, who are the really smart ones. I'd ask the class a question. I'd say, who is the greater scientist? The one who has the answers or the one who has the questions? And the smart kids would immediately say the one who has the questions. Because if you think that you have the answers, then you don't really understand that science is nothing more than a particular way of describing things according to the knowledge that we have at the moment. Right? And that in fact, if you're a real clever scientist, you realize that as much as we know, there's so much more. But you have to be really smart to know how to ask the right questions. Have you heard of Oppenheimer? You heard of the Manhattan Project? Right? They developed the atom bomb, right? And he was like the top mathematician there. He was in charge. I think he was one of the people in charge of the whole project. So there's a parable that Reb Nachman used to tell. You probably have heard it many times in Tzvat. This guy is looking for something in the mud. And somebody's passing by and he says, well, what are you looking for? She says, well, I lost a diamond. So he says, can I help you look? She says, yeah, please. He says, well, where did you lose it? She says, well, I lost it over there. She says, well, why are you looking over here? She says, because here I have light, over there is dark. Right? Now get this great mathematician, scientist, Oppenheimer, he also told the story at some public gathering. I don't know much about him, but I heard this from the Levish. He told the story at this public gathering. And he said, science is a light, it's like a street lamp, that illuminates only one part of the universe, or one aspect of the universe. But if you're looking for God, you got to go look in the dark. You hear that? Now, if you're looking for that diamond, you got to go look where you lost it. Where did you lose it? In the dark, right? Where can you find it? There in the dark. If you're looking for God, you got to go look in the dark. Science is a great light that illuminates one part of the universe, one thin layer, and not even the entire layer, just only parts of that thin layer of the universe. You want to find God, you got to be prepared to go into the dark. You want to find God, you find God when things are not going so well. And you got to figure out, what do I need to fix? What do I need to correct in my life? What do I need to correct? And there you're going to find God, So Tammuz is about the eyes, about seeing. So let's read on a little bit in the Shlomo. Shai, you remember where we stopped?
20.
We were on 18.
18. There was something I was supposed to remind you to say, but I don't remember what it was.
Thank you.
Sorry, a little bit quiet.
18.
I don't think I understood when you told it to me, what it was exactly. But you said, I'll be the one that can remember.
It's the Sokol of the Rebbe.
Circle of the Rebbe. Okay.
So
That's what you just taught now.
that was the story. I tell you about the water carrier.
Okay.
Right.
So.
It was the Sokol of the Rebbe, right? Okay, so Reb Shlomo was been talking about a teaching of Reb Nachman. Kennst du das in du auch, du weißt? Was meine du noch mit der gesehen? No.
You got these like no chance.
At the door?
It is the door. You're back, you found it. Good. You found the sink also? The sink you know from Shabbos, I know that. Reb David, Bet Chodesh. You're going to the Bar Mitzvah tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk later. Yeah, you're tired, right? Take another drink. You'll be well, yeah? Yeah, but you're here, you're not going away.
Oh, I'm staying. Thank you.
No problem.
Shabbos.
That's for Brengens, man. It makes it very hard to be awake during the day.
We have only 7, I think.
Yeah, friends like that,
Same problem.
Thank you.
There was a guy in yeshiva with Hasaner Yisrael, and he didn't want to be there because he came from, his ancestors were the Babishers, and here his father put him into the Snagdashi yeshiva. So he just didn't want to get up in the morning, So one day, and they were going to kick him out. So his friends, out of compassion, they picked him up with the mattress. And he's sleeping. They picked him up with the mattress, took him into the shower room, turned on the cold shower, and so on. And then everybody had to go to Minyan. So everybody went to Minyan. But he didn't show up. He just went to sleep in somebody else's bed. Anyway. David, you want some water?
I'm good, thanks.
You good? Okay. So, we're on page 18, right? At the second last paragraph, Kishani mitpalel, when I'm praying, Tfilat Shmona Esrei, the Amidah prayer, and you made Lekevun Yerushalayim, I'm facing Yerushalayim. Gam im ani mitpalel b'ktzei ha'olam, even if I'm praying at the other end of the world, and you made Lekevun Yerushalayim, I face Yerushalayim. האם אני באמת רואה את ירושלים? Do I actually see ירושלים? ברמת הנבואה, on the level of factual information, אני באמת לא רואה אותה. I don't see ירושלים. אבל בעיני משיח, משיח eyes, כל יהודי שמתפלל ממש רואה את ירושלים. Every Jew that is praying sees ירושלים. ממש ותחזינה עינינו בשופחה לציון ברחמים. let our eyes see your return to see him with compassion. היהודי הכי גרוע, we actually did this part yesterday, even the worst Jew, שמתפלל 18, while he's praying, רואה אותה, he sees ירושלים. Right? We're actually on page 19, the second last paragraph. So we repeated something, nothing so terrible, right? So it's always good to do chazor, it's always good to repeat, to learn things again and again. So if Shlomo says that what we learned yesterday was that there used to be a big gap between the scholars and the simple Jews. Until the Baal Shem Tov came and the Baal Shem Tov taught everybody how to look a little bit more deeply and see how special Moshiach with the water carrier is. That's why I told the story yesterday, right, Shaya? That's why I told the story about Moshiach with the water carrier yesterday, because of that last passage that we learned from the Baal Shem Tov. You got to know how to. You got to have the eyes to see. And one of the lessons that I heard on recording from Shlomo. Also, on seeing, he starts off with a quote from the Talmud, Omer Rabbi Binyamin taught, Hakol v'cheska suma, everybody is considered blind until God opens your eyes. In other words, you can walk on the streets with open eyes, but it don't mean that you see everything. You don't see everything.
Is the word
You
sima?
need suma.
Suma.
You need Hashem to open your eyes, right? Hashem, let our eyes see your return to Yerushalayim, right? We need Hashem to help us see. And we also have to be careful not to damage our vision.
That Hazen also has a connotation of seeing in the future. Jose is
Yeah.
foresee.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. So, אני רוצה שתדעו, I want you to know, says Rav Shlomo, second last paragraph on 19. חודש אב הוא אפילו יותר עמוק מעיני משיח. The month of Av is even deeper than the month of Tammuz, which is about the eyes of Mashiach. כשאתה מנשק מישהו שאתה אוהב באמת, אתה סוגר את העיניים. When you're kissing somebody that you really love, you usually shut your eyes. אתם בטח מכירים את התורה מרבי נחמן שמסבירה, surely you know Rabbi Nachman's teaching that explains, שאני יכול לראות משהו רק אם אני קצת רחוק ממנו. I can only see something when it's a little bit distant from me. כי אם אני ממש קרוב, because if I'm really close to it, אני כבר לא יכול לראות, I can't see it. הדבר היחיד שאני יכול לעשות, the only thing I can do when something is really, really close is lishmoa, is to hear. Right? It's a phenomenon, right? Put your hand like right next to your eyes, like what do you see? You can't see anymore, right? But you still can hear, right? And we said the month of Tammuz is about seeing, the month of Av is about hearing, right? So he says, "B'chodesh Tammuz אנחנו עדיין קצת רחוקים." In the month of Tammuz, we're still a little bit distant from the Beis Hamikdash. Yesh lanu einei Mashiach, maybe we have already achieved that we have Mashiach eyes, but אנחנו יכולים לראות and we're able to see, אבל כשבא חודש אב, when the month of Av comes, אנחנו כל כך קרובים, we're so close, שאי אפשר לראות אותו כבר, that you can't see the Beis Hamikdash anymore, כי אנחנו ממש שם, because you're already there. שידוע שמשיח בא בתשעה באב, right? It's a known thing, we have a tradition that Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av. Right? כשאתה בוכה, when you cry, page 20, when you cry, אתה סוגר את העיניים, you close your eyes. ואתה לא יכול לראות, and you can't see. Rabbi Natan Masbir, so Muslim explains, why do you close your eyes when you cry? Because at that moment you're so close to the thing that you're crying over that you have to close your eyes. It's amazing. Everything that I'm distant from, that causes me to cry, the crying brings Moshiach closer. Bless you. Once Rav Shlomo said, I don't remember if it's in this, I don't remember if it's in this teaching, but he once gave over a teaching that tears are the mikveh of the eyes. I'm, I'm sort of friends with the Square Dayan in Montreal. And we used to have longer talks, not long, but we were, now I don't see him all that often, maybe once a year, twice a year. I have a chance to see him when I'm there, I try to see him. Very special man, Rabbi Yochanan Vosner. A nephew of the late Rav Shmuel Vosner, the big Paisik. So he, we would discuss some spiritual issues. I'm not talking about things out there. I'm talking about things inside yourself. Sometimes there's something that you got to fix, and you try and you try again and you try again and you try again. Yeah. And every time you succeed a little bit, and then boom, you fall again, right? You try again, boom, you fall again, right? And so one day he called him up, I said, so do you have any advice? How am I going to deal with this problem? And after discussing this for years already, he said, the only thing I could tell you is you just mamish have to cry your eyes out. You have to cry your heart out. In other words, if you really cry over it, that's what Rav Shlomo was saying over here. Shlomo was saying, if you really, really care about it, whatever it is, then you're likely to cry. And when you're crying, it brings it a lot closer. In other words, it brings the resolution a lot closer. Okay? So the month of Av was so close to Moshiach. Moshiach is born on Tisha B'Av. We're so close to the ultimate redemption that you just have to, you close your eyes and you cry. The month of Tammuz, we have to fix our seeing and our vision.
I'm a little confused.
Yeah?
I'm confused with the paragraph before, which says, on the month of Tammuz, if we cry, it brings the Moshiach closer. And then it also says, when we're really, really close, right there, we cry. So which is it? When we're close, we cry, or when we're far away, we cry? I'm not sure which crying he's talking about.
See this side of the coin?
Yeah.
You see this side of the coin?
Yeah.
Is it two different coins?
No.
Same coin?
Same coin.
That's the answer.
Okay.
It's two sides of the same coin. Understand? If you're really close with something, you cry. And if you cry, you're really close with it. Okay? The worker, there was, I think I told the story a few days ago. There was a Yid that was, he and his wife, they didn't have children, and he's going around from tzaddik to tzaddik, from Rebbe to get blessings that they should have a child. And every one of them says to him, I'm so sorry, I can't do anything for you. The gates of heaven are closed. So finally he comes to the Vurka Rebbe, Rabbi Yitzchak Vurka, and the Vurka takes a look and he says, I'm so sorry, the gates of heaven are closed. I can't help you. And the man walked away very, very upset because this was the last Rebbe that he was ever going to go to see if he can get a blessing to have a child. He left very, very sad, and he's leaving town, and as he's just about on the outskirts, he hears the Vurka Rebbe is running after him. Wait. Catches up, and he says, yes, Rebbe, and he says, it's not true. It's not true that I can't do anything. There is something I can do. I can sit and I can cry with you. And they sat down, the two of them, they cried. And he was blessed with a child. You said, sometimes you think, why isn't Hashem answering my prayers? Why isn't Hashem answering my prayers? You know, and they're sincere, etc., etc. Yeah, they are sincere. But are you crying over it? And it's not so pashut. You know, it's a real gift to be able to cry, because what did they tell you when you were growing up? You're already in grade 11. Why are you still crying? You know, you're growing up, right?
Crying
They tell
for
you,
sissies.
crying for sissies. Big boys don't cry. Men don't cry, right? And never. It's too bad that we were raised that way.
Real men cry.
Real men cry, right? And the Rebbe cried. You know, I remember once in the middle of the Sikha, I was actually listening to the Sikha on a hookup in the yeshiva in Montreal, live hookup. And like Mamish in the middle of the Sikha, it was sort of like almost a non-sequitur to what the Rebbe was talking about. And he was like, Mamish, he just, for a few seconds, he just like, Mamish, said something and he cried. You know? And in other words, the Frierdiker Rebbe, right? Passed away, what?
So you cried a lot.
He cried a lot. You've been reading about it?
Yeah.
People would come, this was after the Holocaust, and people would tell him their stories, and he would sit and cry like a baby. Notice, if you really care, it's a natural thing that you're going to cry. Now, it doesn't mean that if you're not crying that you don't really care. It just means that you've been conditioned not to cry, right? Which basically means you've been conditioned not to get in touch with that deepest aspect of yourself, which would naturally cry. I was at a wedding a number of years ago, and the chosn was standing at the chuppah, and you know, and as the Kelder was walking around him, he started to cry and really loud, you know, and he was crying for over 15 minutes. They had to wait to continue the chuppah. And he was crying for joy, obviously, right? He couldn't believe that, wow, Hashem, you brought me my soulmate. And he cried and cried, and his parents were standing there feeling embarrassed. The rabbi was standing there feeling embarrassed. And the candles are burning, and the caterers, the soup is getting cold. And the chosn is crying like mamish. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. When I say 15 minutes, I'm not exaggerating. He stood there crying like, and the crowd was like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Because people don't know. You know, when a little child is crying, hey, if she must candy, you know, can I give you a candy? You want a glass of water, right? But when an adult that you respect a scholar and everything, right? And standing there and he's crying, like, and everybody's like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? We should have cried along, you know. That's what we.
I went to a wedding a week ago where the chassan and kala were both crying and crying, and everyone was crying with them. It was the second marriage they're both widowed. They were talking about how 3 days before
Right.
they had gone to the graves together, the two of the two.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, Rav Shlomo once lamented, he says, people don't know how to laugh, people don't know how to cry. We laugh on dirty jokes, and we cry over stupid things. He often would say something like that. You remember, David? Because people don't know how to laugh. It's true. Most people don't know how to laugh. Like, you know, like, but Titzchak Sarah laughed. Avram laughed. Like, you know, when you hear good news, like, you know, when it's laugh. It's
like
you know.
the sale.
Huh?
I once gave like a mushroom with the sale, like the suit cost $1,000. And then
That's Sasson, yeah. Simcha Sasson, yeah. Laughter, right? Which month was that? Tzchok. Tzchok is which month? Laughter. I think it's Adar.
So I think.
must
Yeah.
be the
Must be Adar. So it's I was actually I'm learning the Maimer, the Chodoidi. Have you learned it? The Maimer that the Friedrich Rebbe said by the Rebbe's chuppah, the Rebbe's wedding. And so he quotes the Gemara that it's a Gemara that in Psachim, Rabbi Mikame the Pesach B'Shmaitze, that Rabbi, before he would start giving his lesson to the students, he would start first by telling them a joke. And then the rabbis would laugh, and then he would continue and teach the lesson, which they would sit trembling as they were listening to their master teaching Torah. So the Gemara says that Sichas Cholim, that the ordinary talk of the scholars, Sricha Limud, has to be studied. And there's, like, you know, if you would hear, you know, like one of these great scholars say, you know, where's the shuk? Okay, you should study it, even though you only ask, where's the shuk? Because these great people, even the way they spoke in daily life, everything was like Torah, you know. So why would he tell a joke? Why would he want to make the rabbis laugh? Basically, why do you laugh at a joke? What makes you laugh? The surprise element, right? In other words, a good humor, right, is sort of like a mind expander, because you didn't expect to hear that punchline. You were, it caught you by surprise, right? So basically, I'm now talking just educationally, okay? So it sort of like opens you up a little bit, right? And then you can continue and proceed with the lesson. If you look on Y.Y. Jacobson's classes online, he always starts with a joke. Now, the real chachma is not to tell a joke; it's also to tell a joke that is related to the subject that you're going to be discussing. You know, if Shlomo used to tell jokes, and he'd laugh like crazy. So he would laugh at it.
Him telling the joke, him laughing.
Just right, he couldn't stop laughing even before he finished telling the joke. You know? And everybody would just laugh, because just watching the way he laughed, his whole body was laughing, right? His whole body would be, you know, shaking and laughing, you know. And it's healthy to laugh, you know. There's a whole system of therapy now that they call laughter therapy. Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had Miriam Fetterman come to once and do a class on laughter therapy.
Oh, yeah?
She's a laughter therapist.
That's cool.
So if a person cries, the gates of heaven are open.
Well, that's a famous teaching, that even if all the other gates are closed, Share Dimo Lo Ninalu. The gates of tears has never been locked. Okay? So we should be blessed, and I'm saying this as a sincere prayer. We should be blessed never to look down at any one of our brothers and sisters. And even if you see the guy smoking on Shabbos, Chas v'Sholem, or reading something, or they're not being as religious as you think that they should be, whatever it is, warning, red flashing lights and sirens, do not look down at them. Do not think that you are better than them. Because if you were really connected, you would realize that they're better than you. Okay? You would be convinced that they're better than you. We should be blessed, Mamish, to see properly, to see with good eyes. We should be blessed to have the guts not to look at every stupid place that the media and and the movies and the TV shows that we were brainwashed with for years and years and years, because that has affected our ability to see deeply.
Amen.
And we should be blessed to look with healing eyes. We should be blessed to look with healing eyes, meaning to say that the way you look at somebody can bring them a lot of good and healing. We have an expression, Beli Ayin Hara, without the evil eye, right? The Gemara discusses the whole thing about the evil eye. And it's not superstitious. It's not about, I want to be protected from the evil eye and so on. It's a reality. If you're looking with a negative eye at somebody, you could be causing them a lot of damage. Literally, you could be causing a lot of damage. Not only to them, but also to yourself. Okay? So we have to really, really be careful to look with good eyes. Tzemach Tzedek was a little boy. He asked his grandfather, the Alter Rebbe, why did God create us with two eyes? God could have created us with one eye, right? Or God could have created us with cockroach antennae. It's not the only way to know how to get around, right? So he answered him, he says, you have two eyes, right? So, you know the difference between a sheen and a seen? So he says, yeah, and the sheen, the dot is on the right side, the seen is on the left side. So he says, we have two eyes. And you have to, certain things you have to look at with the right eye, certain things you have to look at with the left eye. Oh. Certain things you have to look at with a hava, and other things you have to look at with gevura. Oh. Okay? And he went on and he explained, looking at a fellow Jew, make sure you're looking with the right eye. Okay? If you're just trying to if you're not looking, let me put it this way, if you're not looking with the right eye, that means you're looking with the left eye. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to stop over here.
Did you teach about the Sokolov?
Huh?
Sokolov? Sokolov, did you teach that?
He was the Rebbe that went to that party and asked him, what are you celebrating, Moshiach? Right.
What was the answer?
I just said Moshiach Good Shabbos. Not Moshiach Good Shabbos, Moshiach is a water carrier. He tried to befriend this guy that was really special.
Yeah.
And this whole story that one night